Hello, good morning, afternoon, nighttime. We have to talk about something very important, and that is I'm just gonna get straight to the jump. This game is fire. Everybody who's played this game knows it's fire. It's fun. I'm not gonna say it's balanced because it's definitely, you got some characters that are a little broken right now, but it's definitely fun. It's replayable. It looks good. Recently, it's had some lag issues and some stability issues and optimization as well. Some people who have lower end systems can't really even run the game. But I'm not here to talk about Marvel Rivals gameplay. Well, kinda. I'm here to talk about what the title exactly says. Is this gonna kill Overwatch? And as someone who played Overwatch for almost 8 years, I can tell you, yes, kinda. It really does matter who you ask. Because from an overall perspective, it's easy to look at Marvel Rivals and say, hey, this has quadruple the players of Overwatch. Overwatch 2 is doing horrible, the rank sucks, the system sucks, the heroes suck, the currency sucks, the reskin sucks, the collaborations suck, all of the ultimates suck, the player base, it sucks. I could just go on forever because I'm a little bit biased, but looking at it from an overall perspective, it's easy to say that. But at the same time, Marvel Rivals has been around for, 2 weeks? Overwatch has been around for years. Now, some people are already making the argument that Marvel Rivals has way better player support, and it has a way better dev team and communication with their player base, which is what people want to see. But I think that this game is still in what people call the honeymoon phase. If you don't know what that is, it's when a game comes out and everyone kind of falls in love with the whole thing, and they kind of ignore all of the rough edges that it has and all of the flaws and mistakes. I believe that Marvel Rivals right now is still in that honeymoon phase, and it makes sense. A lot of people love this game, but people are slowly starting to realize the kind of mistakes that this game has. And look, every game has mistakes. That's bound to happen. Glitches, lag issues, optimization, maybe some gameplay choices. It's hard to kind of realize that stuff when you're first getting into the game and still trying to have the most fun that you can while playing it. The reason why we can't be 100% sure if this game is really going to be a big hit is because of this honeymoon phase. And a perfect example of this is Helldivers 2. Everyone played Helldivers 2. Everyone downloaded this game, bought it day one. It was so fun just landing in, shooting monsters, and trying to figure out how the game works, what the best weapons are, how to tackle these new creatures that no one understands, and interact with the community as well. The same exact thing happened to Helldivers 2. Everyone was boasting about, oh, the dev team is so nice. Every time they tweeted, everyone was like, wow, this is so great for the game. But then fast forward a couple months, maybe in a year now, and people have lost interest in this game. The development team has done some very questionable things to Helldivers 2, and it got kind of repetitive after a couple months. Even me, I loved playing Helldivers 2, but after doing a couple missions, it felt like there was really nothing more to do. Especially after they were nerfing certain weapons and not really adding things to the game, it just kind of killed it. And the reason being is because it was a game that advertised as being a live update game, something that they would be adding things to. I mean, looking back on Helldivers 2, it looked great, it played great, it felt awesome, but unfortunately, after that honeymoon phase, it just got boring. And it sucks. It really does suck. But enough of the honeymoon phase. I want to talk about what that means in terms of video games. Because after this phase does eventually die down for Marvel Rivals, we're going to see how this really plays out. There are so many video games that have been in this position, and most of them have been successful, but some of them not too successful. On the latter, a good example is Splitgate. Splitgate was a good game when it came out, pretty decent. It copied Portal 2 and Halo, and it was pretty good for about a year, I think maybe a couple months. But once people started to realize it was really just a big copycat of other games and really added nothing to itself, people stopped playing it. On the other end, a game like Valorant is a really good example. Valorant is basically an exact copy of CSGO mixed with a little bit of Overwatch. I mean, I remember when the game came out, people were saying this gun's recoil pattern is the exact same as CSGO. I mean, they literally copied it. The op is called the operator. People were already coining some terms from CSGO onto Valorant, and once Valorant got out of this honeymoon phase, it kind of stayed for a while, and it's still here. In fact, Valorant is so popular, one could say it even killed CSGO. But that's kind of the same argument we have here for Marvel Rivals in Overwatch. For Valorant, although it is one of the most popular shooters right now, we can't exactly say that CSGO is dead, because people still do play CSGO. You could even go as far as saying that Valorant encouraged CSGO to come out with CS2 so it could have better gameplay and bring back some of its old players. However, I don't think CSGO is ever really going to recover from Valorant, but they still do have their original player base. Same thing when you look at Fortnite. A lot of people say that Fortnite copied PUBG, but I mean, you could argue that, but it does copy its base idea, the Battle Royale. And there are some things that are obviously copied from PUBG, but it's so obvious that Epic Games had a plan for Fortnite. There was a photo that came out that showed what they wanted Fortnite to be. They wanted it to be a hub for gaming. They wanted Fortnite to be this grand thing from the beginning, and it worked. It really did work, and it kind of killed PUBG. Same thing with CSGO. I'm sure you see people still play CSGO. I know people probably still play PUBG, but you don't hear anyone talk about it, which means you can kind of say Fortnite killed PUBG in the same way that Valorant kind of quote-unquote killed CSGO. On the other hand, there's so many games that tried to copy other games, but it just didn't work out. Splitgate is a great example that I used already. All of the million Minecraft clones, all of the million Fortnite clones. I mean, shit, in 2020, everyone was trying to make a Battle Royale. And it just, in the end, didn't work. Does anyone even remember playing Spellbreak? Am I the only one who played that game? There are some very, very good examples, though, of two games that kind of copy each other or copied one another, and they ended up both being good. Disney Infinity copied Skylanders, but growing up, I know a lot of people who played Disney Infinity, and I knew a lot of people who ended up playing Skylanders as a kid. And to this day, people still talk about both games like they're great. You could argue that Uncharted is a copy of Tomb Raider, but everyone loves both games equally. And in the end, they both became their own original idea. But I think the pattern here that really does kill games that copy other games is that usually the newer game, the developers have an idea of what they want their game to be. They have a plan and they're going to execute that plan and listen to their player base if that plan doesn't work. And this goes for any game, not even games that copy something else. For example, No Man's Sky. When that game came out, it was pretty bad, but in the future they ended up creating a really, really good game. Cyberpunk had really bad optimization issues, but in the future, it ended up personally being one of the best games I've ever played. Even Overwatch. A lot of people say that Overwatch is a copy of TF2, which I agree. But the thing is that Jeff Kaplan and the Overwatch devs, they knew what they were doing. They had this whole world built in their head. They had these character ideas, they had lore, they had the budget for it. They listened to their player base. And although they made some mistakes, they fixed those mistakes until Overwatch 2 happened, of course. But also that's a good thing to notice. Overwatch 2 is the death of Overwatch. They lost Jeff, they had some really bad sexual assault cases, they added stuff that didn't make sense, they changed things that didn't make sense, they got money hungry. And ultimately that caused the game to die down. Not because of the player base, not because some new game came in, but because it killed itself. Which is why you could say that Marvel Rivals won't kill Overwatch, it's already dead. It might just be the final nail in the coffin. But that's of course if Marvel Rivals can keep up with their name, with their legacy, with their player base. If Marvel Rivals ends up being a bad game and the devs stop caring after 3 months, then people might go back to Overwatch. Or even better, in the best case scenario, Marvel Rivals does great and it causes Overwatch to learn and better themselves to create a better game, and then both games can live in harmony. That's the best outcome to get out of Marvel Rivals. I want to see the success of Marvel Rivals push Overwatch, push Blizzard in general, to make better games, to hire better devs. But in a more realistic scenario here, I think Marvel Rivals is going to do really good. I mean, it's backed by Marvel, the company, it's backed by Disney, which is probably the most powerful company you could have backing a video game. So if you want to keep it plain and simple, yeah, Marvel Rivals might kill Overwatch, but that's only under very specific conditions that we don't know might happen or not. So I guess we can look back on this video in maybe, I don't know, a year from now and see what happens.